How useful would it be to be able to think like Einstein? And I don't mean to be able to think, come up with advanced nuclear physics theories, but to be able to tap into your inner genius and come up with ideas that normally wouldn't be available to you. So there's a quote attributed to Einstein, which you've probably seen, that imagination is more important than knowledge. And I know some people contest whether he in fact said that or not, but I've seen it on enough t-shirts to know that that's absolutely true, that he did in fact say it. And even if he didn't say it, he demonstrated it through his behavior. Most of his experiments were what's called thought experiments. He didn't actually go out and do the experiments that he thought of, but he came up with them in his mind. And they were just absolutely groundbreaking for their time. So, for example, the theory of relativity. At that time, most physicists could not comprehend what it was that he was proposing. And in fact, he was ridiculed at the time. But anyway, he stuck to his guns and he says, no, this is the way it is. The way that I've described the theory of relativity is the way that it is. So his way of thinking was that imagination is more important than knowledge. But how did he tap into his imagination? One of the things that he recognized was that he had his best insights in that cusp between waking and sleeping. There's that, and you would have experienced it yourself, that kind of, there's that sort of dream state that you just get a glimpse of sometimes, where you're aware but you're not thinking, and it just feels kind of blissful. And Einstein is one of several people who kind of recognized that state, and they came up with a method. And he didn't come up with this method himself, but I believe he practiced it. I haven't seen it on t-shirts, but I've got no reason to doubt that this is true. It's said that Einstein used this method, Salvador Dali, and even Aristotle used this method as well. What they would do is, when they're having a power nap in the afternoon or morning, or whenever their normal time for a power nap is, they would hold a key in their hand, just sort of on the tips of their fingers, and leave the hand over the edge of the bed, so that if they fell asleep, then the key would drop to the floor, and they'd have some kind of upturned bowl, just so that it made a loud noise to wake them up and prevent them from going into deep sleep. And it's said that Einstein practiced that methodology as well. And that's where he got his deepest insights, was in that cusp. Now, you can follow that method yourself. You can have a crack at it and put the keys in your hand and go through that and do that on a regular basis. Or you can practice Vedic meditation, because Vedic meditation takes you to that same state. It's designed to transcend thought. So you transcend your thinking and you go down to the point where the thoughts actually originate. And as you can imagine, that's where the creativity happens. Because for all the other scientists at the time, even if they'd had that insight that Einstein had, by the time it sort of weaves its way up through the knowledge in their brain, it would have got to the point where they'd said, no, that can't be possible. We absolutely can't entertain that. But because Einstein was regularly transcending, regularly going to that place where knowledge becomes irrelevant and imagination and insight rules, he was able to get the insights that he did, and had a remarkably successful career, going from a patent clerk to one of the most respected scientists of all time. So there you have it. That's how you can think like Einstein. You can either follow the key method, or you can learn Vedic meditation. It's good to have choice, isn't it?